just really feeling really full of gratitude right now for these two folks and all the people who have sustained the Peace and Justice Action League of Spokane for 50 years. It's like statistically unlikely, but here we are. I want to take a minute to talk about the Salish School of Spokane. Jack gave the context of where we are in the lands of the interior Salish peoples. And on the table outside, there are flyers about the Salish School of Spokane's capital campaign. And I want to urge you to not only support PJALS today, but to also support the Salish School of Spokane. They are restoring this critically endangered Salish language. They say we are working to heal ourselves from intergenerational trauma by reconnecting people to our culture and a caring community. Adults and children who participate in the programs are healing and thriving. We act as a resource hub for the families we serve by connecting them with enrichment experiences, mental health, substance abuse, and the housing resources that they need to thrive. We help meet people's most basic needs for connection to healthy culture and community, and then provide wraparound support in their journey of transformation. If you're not familiar with the work of the Salish School, I really urge you to check it out. It is some of the most transformative, revolutionary work that is happening in our region, and it is based in indigeneity and language revitalization in a way that is like a spiral of spirals in terms of the work, the impact of the work. There's a QR code to donate on the back of the flyer that you can get on the table. And I really encourage you to take one, check it out, and support them as they are seeking to build their own building on the banks of the Spokane River, where the forest and the river will be part of the classroom. So please support the Salish School. I found the Peace and Justice Action League when I was a high school student in the radical hotbed of Deer Park, when we were about to go to war against Iraq that time around in 1990 and 91. I felt strongly that the question of war deserved critical thinking. In contrast, what I saw in my high school and really across the country was lazy, racist thinking that treated the question of war like the question of whether we should support Deer Park or Riverside in the football game. Clearly, our side was the only right side, and that's all there is to that. I didn't have big political theories about imperialism, but I knew war was serious. And so, because there was no Google in 1991, I looked up peace in the phone book. And luckily for me and my life, there was the Peace and Justice Action League of Spokane. There it was. And I called, and that voice you just heard from Rusty Nelson answered the phone and invited me to the youth program. And my friend and I made the trek through the farmland to exotic, cosmopolitan downtown Spokane. That is what it felt like. That youth group was an oasis for me, where my ideas and questions were respected, and where critical thinking was encouraged. The advisor was the iconic Mary Pat Truthheart, who you'll see in the video. Yeah, woo to Mary Pat, yeah. Together, the youth group members held a benefit concert, learning the nuts and bolts of an event budget, and how important it is that the person who said they would make the flyer follows through in making the flyer. But who had planted the seed that led to my looking up peace in the phone book? My Spanish teacher. A minute for our teachers, huh? Yeah. My Spanish teacher, Mrs. O'Halloran, Teresa O'Halloran, who was part of the Peace and Justice Action League community. One day she put her hand in the chalk dust and put a white handprint on the blackboard. And she told her classroom of 15 and 16-year-old small town and farm kids that this was called La Mano Blanca. And in El Salvador, if this is on your door, it means there's 5 days until the death squad comes for you. And then she told us who funded and trained those death squads. My own country, the United States of America. Teresa O'Halloran changed the course of my life that day, and she did it because she was part of the Central America Solidarity Association and the Peace and Justice Action League community. People came together in the PJALS community then for the same reason we do now, although the ecosystem of progressive organizing in Spokane has changed so much. The reason then and the reason now is the warmth of community, the imperative and the relief of participation, the urgency of now, the satisfaction of impact through collective action. And I've experienced this myself, as I know many of you have. When I was an intern in the late 90s, in the PJALS office, when gay-obsessed bigot zealots were gathering signatures on an anti-gay initiative, PJALS was giving office space to the Hands Off Washington organizer, a gay man who was running the Decline to Sign Bigot Busters campaign in a community where there was very little friendly space. And I saw how essential and how easy it is to share resources. My very first union picket line was as a PJALS intern, when we went to support the Kaiser aluminum workers on their picket lines. With PJALS, I learned to gather signatures when I coordinated volunteers on the minimum wage initiative. That minimum wage initiative is the reason that our minimum wage in Washington goes up every January 1st. That was because of volunteer signature gatherers in Spokane and across the state. If you've ever gathered signatures, you know it's real hard to get people to make contact with you. So we dressed up as clowns so that they would look at us and then we could get in the conversation. Somewhere on the slideshow is a picture of 20-something me in my clown outfit. I'm so proud and simultaneously so humble to have been the executive director of PJALS for 16 years and to be here as we celebrate our 50th anniversary. I have so much love and admiration for all the people who started and sustained this wonderful organization. And I want to particularly thank 5 groups. One is the peacekeepers, the volunteer peacekeepers who show up so consistently and work together so beautifully, embodying the belief that we keep each other safe. All of the people who've participated in race class analysis workshops followed by canvassing, breaking 3 rules at once, talking to strangers about racism and politics. Our really phenomenal steering committee members who chart our direction together and who support the well-being of staff, prioritizing healthcare coverage, 36-hour work week, and retirement benefits, a rarity in organizing. And our really fantastic staff team, development director Shar Lichty, community organizer Chantel Jackson, digital organizer Travis Ray, who you see taking pictures. This is his first benefit, so give him a little hello when you see him. There he is. Operations coordinator James Hires, and youth organizers, 4 youth organizers on staff, Foster Transu, Nico Jagger, Victoria Tashler, and Fenrir Close. And soon we'll introduce you to our new regional organizer who will be working countywide. When we say PJALS is an intergenerational organization, I see it in my own family. My parents have been longtime members. My mom is here today. And imagine my delight, my immense delight, that my son Jack has participated in our Young Activist Leaders program for 3 seasons. All the moms, like, put your hand on your heart. I had the pleasure of being present at the first session of this fall's Young Activist Leaders program on Friday, when more than 30 young people gathered and named that they were there for a range of issue passions and a shared longing and determination to be part of making change happen. The youth organizers ran the session. My role was mainly to provide pizza. Outside the window, as we gathered in the downtown public library, we were greeted by a rainbow over the river. We are in a time of immense crisis and immense potential as we face this fascist power grab. It's an important time to learn from movements in our own history and around the world. We know that wannabe dictators behave in actually very predictable ways. They will try to stoke fear and chaos to keep us off balance. They will make threats to get people to obey in advance. and they will seek to weaponize fear, racism, homophobia, transphobia to target group after group after group to keep us divided and apart. Researchers looked at 35 cases of countries that had democratic structures that backslid toward authoritarianism in the last 30 years. With no civil resistance movement, only 7.5% of countries stopped backsliding. With a civil resistance movement, 51.7% stopped the authoritarian slide. There are no guarantees. And we, in this room, and the movement that we're part of, are each other's best bet. Successful movements also have patterns. Successful movements sustain mass, diverse participation. Successful movements expand the repertoire of nonviolent tactics. Yes, protest. Yes, building alternatives. And yes, creative non-cooperation with authoritarianism in small and large, individual and collective ways. Successful movements elicit loyalty shifts among key sectors. Diverse participation in some level of resistance also means business, media, security forces. There is room for everyone. We need everyone. Successful movements maintain relationships, maintain discipline, and maintain resilience to make repression backfire. I don't know if we can do it, but I believe that we can do it. I want to close my remarks. Yeah. I'll share what I've been saying to myself, the quote from Gandalf from The Lord of the Rings. Despair is for those who know for certain. We do not. Marge Piercy ended her poem, The Low Road, by saying, it starts when you care to act. It starts when you do it again after they said no. It starts when you say we and you know who you mean. And each day you mean one more. Thank you.